special edition of Dogs on the Run. It's always special when we're with you. He's Pierre Woods. I'm Andy Baskin. Kenny Rhoda is going to join us in just a few seconds. We have a litany of guests. Obviously, it's big news over the last 24 hours. I don't even realize that the Browns played the Steelers yesterday, but they did. There was a game there. We might talk about that for about 2 seconds. The Browns now have a new hierarchy, or will have a new hierarchy as they move forward into the future. No, Jimmy Haslam speaking for the first time last night.
They do. It's Jimmy. That's the hierarchy.
That's it. Jimmy is everything.
He's making all the rules, all the decisions, and I mean, for a guy who never played football before, I don't know.
So I'm going to take it you are not an analytics guy. You are very much a old school. You have to understand the game to be in the
play
front
the
office.
game. You have to be able to be in the game to understand the game, to bring people in.
How many owners, though, do you think in the NFL have actually played the game?
Not many, but they got people around them that played football. Just like Jamel said last night.
Right.
You got to have football guys around you. Like, it isn't about no analysts. You can analyze anything you want.
Right.
But if you don't know the game and you don't understand the game the way it's supposed to be played and how you recruit talent.
Well, talent acquisition is what he talked about. We're going to hear a ton from Jimmy Haslam from the press conference from last night. We want your reaction this morning because it is going to be a fun-filled show. Again, 216-431-3820. 216-431-3820. Tell your friends that's the number if they want to call in. You can say whatever you want. You need to swear. You're not happy. Whatever it is. We're here, and we're here for you to get it off your chest. Also, you can Skype in is what we really like. Dogs on the Run, D-A-W-G-S, on the Run. Should be a real hot show today. I want to go to Kenny Rhoda here in a second is what we're going to do. Again, I want your initial reaction, Pierre, first of all, and then we're going to go to the Skype lines here. But I want your initial reaction to the firings yesterday. Ray Farmer and Mike Pettin.
Mike Pettin, the name of the game is winning. So
I think he knew that too.
Yeah,
right?
He knew that. He knew that. He told the guys that, and he understood that. And I think those guys in that locker room should feel bad. Honestly, the disrespectful guy in that whole locker room is Johnny Manziel. Some of them guys, I mean, if I see him on the street, I'll smack him.
You would smack Johnny Manziel. So why would you smack him? Why?
To be in Vegas when you should be there on the sideline with your team and supporting those guys like they supported you. They block their ass off for you, and you go and do something like that and say, well, I don't want to be here. I'd rather be in Dallas.
All right, but listen, there are a lot of people that will call this morning, whether it's my radio show or here. There's the picture, that he said that he was in Avon on Saturday. I've got 100 reports that he was in Vegas on Saturday night.
Listen.
So at first we were questioning where he really was. Everything I've heard, he was in Vegas.
Yeah,
was he in Vegas?
He was in Vegas.
Yes, he was.
My thing is, if you're here, you're at the game on the sideline. Dwayne Bowe was on the sideline.
Oh, that's true.
Josh was on the sideline. Everybody else is on the sideline except Johnny Manziel, regardless you got a concussion or not. Those guys are going to be there. If they're not in the sideline, they up in the skybox. They're there.
Are you done with Johnny Manziel? Because we're going to get into that too. You done with Johnny?
There's no excuses. No, don't talk about young, this, that, whatever. He need to get smacked in the face, man. He's very disrespectful to this organization, to his family, to his teammates, everything, anything and everything. He's very disrespectful to everyone, and there's no excuse for that.
All right, let's bring in Kenny Rhoda. Hi, Kenny. How are you?
Good morning. It's deja vu all over again, Andy.
Yeah, every 2 years we get together and do this. It's like our anniversary.
It is. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to everybody. All right, Kenny, first, I just want to kind of rapid fire through some of the things that are going on. Phone lines are doing pretty good this morning, so we're going to pick those up here in a second. Again, if you're watching now, you can call in. It's live. It's, 7:36 on Monday morning. If you're listening to this on the podcast, obviously, we've already done the show, and we want your input. Let's do a little rapid fire just to start things off with you. First of all, your thoughts, Mike Pettin fired.
I was happy to see Mike Pettin go. I didn't think he was head coaching material. Let's go back a couple of years when they hired him. He was their fourth or fifth or sixth choice, whatever it was. So not surprising to me. It's one of the times that I've agreed with Jimmy Haslam. So I thought firing Mike Pettin was the right move.
All right, next point. Ray Farmer. Fire? Yes? No? Good idea? Bad idea?
Great.
Second time I agreed with Jimmy Haslam, and that's where it will stop with Ray Farmer. Ray Farmer was one of the worst talent evaluators, talent acquisition guys I've ever seen in maybe Cleveland Browns history. So good riddance to Ray Farmer.
You know, the crazy thing is that Ray played the game, and you would think that he would have took more points of emphasis about evaluating talent or getting better scouts in there. That's just,
No, I hear you. All right, Kenny, let me throw the last one at you, too. All right, so we're done with Ray Farmer. We're done with Mike Pettin. Johnny Manziel, are you done with him?
Good riddance. So long. He doesn't want to be here. His actions off the field, to me, say he does not want to be here, and he's basically holding the Browns hostage. Can they get anything for him, a draft pick? The new GM, which is Sashi Brown, basically, because whoever they hire is going to answer to him and be a scout. So Sashi Brown has to try and find a way to get something for him. If not, they just cut him. So good riddance to Johnny Manziel. They haven't made that decision yet. If they do, that's another time that I will agree with them, which is very rare. But yeah, I'm done with Johnny Manziel.
Hey, random trade proposal. I want to know if you guys would do this.
Eric, the referee, is here. Let me introduce him.
Random trade proposal. Would you trade Johnny Manziel for Sean Payton?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In a heartbeat.
Oh, God, yes.
What? Yes. Get rid of
I would too.
ball.
I would too.
Get rid of
Is that what
ball.
they want? Is that what New Orleans wants?
That's not happening.
I don't know if they would do that.
I mean, if
get-
you're New Orleans and you've got Drew Brees, who's probably one of the most cerebral guys I think I've ever talked to as far as quarterbacks go. I mean, he's a smart dude. You're going in a totally different direction if you bring in Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
Johnny
but
might be football smart. I might give him that.
Drew
But
Brees is also.
Johnny came off as a total spoiled brat, and he just stuck it right to the Browns yesterday. I mean, they couldn't even get a hold of him, according to Peter King.
Boy, was Merrill Hodge right on the money on Johnny Manziel or what?
Say that again, Kenny?
Was Merrill Hodge right on the money about Johnny Manziel? He was the guy on draft night that came out and said, this is a spoiled brat, and the Browns were stupid for drafting him. Maybe they should go hire Merrill Hodge. He found out information and had information on Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. He knows football. So evaluating talent is something that he knows. Not know Sasha Brown. I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I don't care about analytics. You need somebody that knows football.
Kenny, doesn't it smell like the Indians a little bit as far as analytics and old school?
Baseball and football.
It really does. But here's what I'll give the Indians credit from this standpoint. When they hired Mark Shapiro after John Hart left, at least it was a winning organization. When Antonetti took over for Shapiro, they made the playoffs within a few years, and so he was within the organization and saw them win before. Sashi Brown, what are they, 19-45 since Haslam took over as the owner in 2012? You're hiring from within the organization who has a 297 winning percentage over the last 4 years. You're staying within your house on a team that is drafting second and has tied for the worst record in the league and almost had the first pick in the draft. How do you hire within when you're 3-13 this year and a 297 winning percentage over the last 4 years?
All right, Kenny, we'll come back here in 1 second. I want to bring in George from Lakewood. Phone lines are starting to really stack up here in a second. So, again, 216-431-3820, and also on Skype, Dawgs On The Run. Let's go to George in Lakewood, who always starts us off here on Dawgs On The Run. Hi, George.
Good morning, gentlemen. There's nothing really to say. There's really nothing to say. It's fucking putrid. This is a putrid... wait. There is something to say. Why didn't Johnny Manziel just go to the Horseshoe Casino and gamble? I didn't know he had to go to Vegas.
I think the bigger problem with him going to Vegas is if he was truly in the concussion protocol, the worst thing you can do a couple days into a concussion is bright lights. He went to the worst city on earth for that, didn't he?
This is what I don't understand. Why does guy still around people that got cell phones that take pictures?
Well, I didn't see any pictures of him. Did you?
It was a picture of him with some of the
in
guys.
Vegas?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Well,
I thought he tweeted the picture, though, didn't he?
I don't know who did, but all I know it was 4 guys, and he was one of them. You got to be the most idiotic fool in the world. Now, they just said Chris Brown smacked some girl for bringing the phone into one of his private parties. I don't know if he did it or didn't, but that's what they saying. He don't like no phones.
George, do you like what Jimmy Haslam did yesterday?
To a point. I don't even know who this Sasha individual is. And analytics, no, you need football people in the front office. You need a football coach that knows what the hell he's doing.
All right. Are you still a lifelong Browns fan?
Oh, of course.
All right,
I've been a lifelong Browns fan since I was 4 years old.
Oh, that's a good resume. Hey, listen, last point. Just tell everyone what you want them to know, George from Lakewood thinks, about this season and the Browns moving forward.
The season this year, in 2 words, fucking putrid. For 13 weeks, we called and bitched and moaned about it, and 3 times we were in a little ecstasy, like my friend Brutus here. Brutus is the ecstasy, and Snowy's been the agony.
All right.
Though Michigan did kick ass over Florida, okay? That team up north.
That's Michigan, buddy.
I love that Cleveland hat that you have on there,
Yeah, thank
Mr.
you.
Woods.
I appreciate it.
At least there's a little optimism. Spring trading doesn't, not that far away.
All right, George, I'm tweeting out that you used the full effect of Dogs on the Run. George, thank you. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon. I think after they hire a new coach or general manager, we'll bring you back in as well. We'll do another Dogs on the Run.
We need to analyze the draft.
Well, that's coming up, too. That's another issue that we'll get into that when we get there. All right, Kenny, let's bring you back in.
Real quick, I want to just, for those who don't know who Sashi Brown is, here's a quick update. We have a full screen.
All right, let's go through this. Why don't you go through and tell us who Sashi is? Thank you, George. Appreciate it.
So he's going to be the executive vice president of football operations.
Right.
He'll be in charge of the salary cap and have final say on the Browns roster.
So wait, let's just backtrack. Let's go through this bit by bit. He's already been in charge of the salary cap. He is their salary cap guru.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
He's been with the Browns since 2013.
Correct.
Okay.
Before that, he spent 7 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He went to Harvard Law School and was named on the Sports Business Journal's 40 under 40 list last year.
Okay.
Let me give you one other thing about Sashi that we talked about this last night on Sports Sunday that no one's really talking about. He also worked in the law firm right out of college with Alex Scheiner. They both worked at the same law firm. Just to give you some clarity on that.
And real quick, here's Jimmy Haslam talking about Sashi.
Okay.
He's very smart, very organized, good at systems and processes, and an outstanding team player. He's also very strategic, and so we will use those skills.
All right, listen, here's what I was told about Sashi Brown last night. Now, you can believe this or you don't want to believe it, whatever you want. There was a problem in-house with Mike Pettin and Ray Farmer. They were on different pages. The way the tree is set up now, Sashi Brown's ultimate job is to take care of the 53-man roster. I don't think that his ultimate job is to go out and evaluate talent. It's to make sure they have the best 53 guys on the roster. His job is not going to be talent acquisition. He's also in charge of the cap. But more important than that, he is going to be someone the general manager has to answer to. And so if you look at the tree of the Browns right now, this is the way it's supposed to flow. On the business side, Alex Scheiner reports to Jimmy Haslam. Okay? On the football operations side and the football side, the new head coach will report to Jimmy Haslam. The general manager will report to Sashi Brown. Sashi Brown will report to Jimmy Haslam. They tried to put a couple steps in there. Essentially, though, and Kenny, I want to bring you in on this too, what they're doing is they're bringing in another George Kokinis at general manager. This is the least attractive general manager job in the history of sport. Agree or disagree? Start with you, Kenny. Oh, no, we didn't lose his audio, did we?
Joe.
There we go. We have your audio back. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was shaking my head there because I'm listening to you and can't believe if that is indeed the structure that they're trying to put together. You're right. This is a George Kokinis hire. This is basically a pro scout that is going to be in charge of evaluating talent, and that's all he is. He's a scout, and he will answer to Sashi, and the coach will answer to Jimmy and Alex Scheiner, who I hope has nothing to do with the on-the-field production. Hey, he's made Jimmy a lot of money, so that's why he's still around, okay? But as far as the football, decisions, hopefully he has nothing to do with it. I just find this stupefying is the word that I used last.
Kenny, now Alec was in on the interviewing process the last 2 times I heard. He is not in on the interviewing process this
Thank
time.
God.
So,
Well, I will say this. It sounds like Roger Goodell getting his right-hand man to do things. It's not good. It's not good for the organization. period. I mean, you got to answer to one guy, to another guy, to the head man. Look, you're the owner. You be the owner of the team. You just pay the guys. You get you a GM who runs everything. If you don't trust the GM, then you get somebody else to become the GM. You don't have somebody to analyze and tell the GM what to do. The GM got to answer to him, and this person got to answer to that person. That's stupid.
They could have, in this scenario, Kenny, the way I look at it is, by promoting Sashi, I think they could have kept Mike Pettin. This would have been one of the few scenarios that would have worked out for Mike to keep his job. You with me on that?
Yes and no. I think Mike Pettin, you look at his record, 7-9, and then Jimmy came out and said, we can't lose 18 of 21 today. And right there, I'm like, okay, I hear you. That's good. That's right. Get rid of Mike Pettin. You just can't keep the coach around regardless, of how much you like him and what you think maybe he was their fourth or fifth choice. Some guys are better off as coordinators, and some guys are head coaching material. And I'm sorry, he trended in the opposite direction from when they hired him to the point yesterday where they lost again to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there was no way I was keeping Mike Pettin around no matter who they promoted or going to hire or whatever they're going to do.
They should have cut Dwayne Bowe yesterday, too. When they fired Mike Pettin, they should have fired Dwayne Bowe. And
Well, he's fired anyways. He's not going to stick
but
around. I mean, it's not.
You know what? This whole thing about having, I guess it's because his last name, he's a smart guy, went to Harvard Law and all that. I'll get Matt Patricia. He can do all that. I mean, this guy can build a plane, fly the plane, land the plane, come back and coach. That's, come on.
All right, so let's kind of dive into this a little bit more too, Kenny. All right, so now you've got a situation where you're going to have a head coach, I believe, is going to have a ton of power. And this is my Coquina's theory, is the head coach is going to have pretty much all the say, is what it sounds to me, except for the 53-man roster. And he's going to be in on the hiring process of his own general manager. To me, that's mind-blowing to me, but I can kind of understand it if the head coach is going to report straight to the owner. I don't know who would want this general manager job, and I do think they made the head coach's job a little bit more attractive in that way. Pierre, go first.
But it's just like, all right, the coaches normally decide who are on the 53-man roster, right?
It depends on the scenario. And, if you're Bill Belichick, yes. If you're Mike Pettin, no.
Well,
if you're one of the lowest paid coaches in the league, that's where you are. If you're
the coaches and the GM then. So that's the way it should be.
You would hope that these guys would be together, and that's the only way we're ever going to move forward.
But for one guy who doesn't even coach, who's up in a front office, who doesn't coach, and he's in the front office, who doesn't see the players all like that, but got to watch film or come out and do things like that. Like this man's a numbers guy.
Right.
Like he's a money numbers guy. You know what I'm saying? He does a salary. He doesn't do football. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't do football, period.
I think his only job, though, is to make sure that there's someone in the building every day to be that voice of... Look, and I'm just telling you this...
Then why is he in charge of the 53-man roster?
I don't know. Look, I'm right there with you. I think that takes all the power away from any general manager you may have wanted to bring in.
This is where there's no trust, there's no loyalty. Without that, you have no team. You can't build a team without trust and loyalty, period.
What do you got?
This is a SOT from Jimmy Haslam talking about what they're looking for in the next head coach.
Okay.
Key criteria we're looking for in our head coach. I think the first is intelligence. We need somebody that's smart. You obviously need somebody who's a strong leader, somebody who is collaborative and can work well with others.
You see his eyes? His eyes are not even looking straight. They keep going back and forth. You lying, dude.
He's talking to everybody who's in the room.
Man,
what do you mean he's lying?
Look straight, man. Don't even. You ain't got to look at everybody. You answering everybody already. They can hear you. Keep your eyes straight. Focus on one. Just focus.
Real quick, because I want to go to Craig Lindell here in a second. Well, go ahead.
Let me ask you guys this: what if you had one attribute in the next head coach? What would it be? What would you guys want in the next Browns head coach?
Somebody that's a winner.
Already proven.
Proven.
Yeah,
I think proven's the one word, I think.
Let me ask you a follow-up question. Can the Browns get a proven winner in this league?
No. Don't nobody
Depends how much Jimmy's offering in money. How much money is Jimmy offering, and how does he spin the control, the collaborative control that the new head coach will have?
How many other teams are going to do this to another coach? That's the question. If other teams do it, then yeah, you get somebody that say, okay, I want to come here. If other teams are not doing that too, they're going to be like, man, I ain't going there.
Who are you looking at, though, if you're going to do that? And, the talk about Adam Gase I think is interesting if you want to do the Peyton Manning theory. But do you want Chuck Pagano here? Do you want, I'm trying to think of.
Terrell Austin?
Yeah, Sean Payton, if he becomes
Does the way the
available.
Browns
Adam
system-
Gase is a guy they loved 2 years ago but didn't get, so they settled for Mike Pettine.
That's true.
Does the
'Cause
way
they wouldn't wait.
Does the way the Browns system is set up now, does that set up for the possibility of a head coach and general manager to be the same person, or no? Could we
no,
see a
they're gonna
Sean
hire
Payton?
both. No.
Could we see a Sean Payton take both responsibilities maybe as a way to bring him
But
in?
again, why would you want that if you're not ultimately in control of the 53-man roster?
Exactly.
And is Sashi Brown just going to be a yes man to the head coach? If that's the case, then maybe
Yeah.
you've got a chance.
Then yeah, get Sean Payton, pay him as much as he wants. You do what you need to do. You trade Johnny Manziel, you get rid of somebody else, and you do that. But if not, then no.
All right, let's bring in Craig. Craig, who joins us from Waiting for Next Year. Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going? I've spent the last 12 hours trying to figure out what the Browns are attempting to accomplish,
Okay.
and that's really where I'm trying to start.
Give me a solution here, because we're trying to still figure this thing out, too. I think if they hire a coach pretty fast and he knows what he wants, then Jimmy had a plan. He clearly had a plan. Now, we know there are some rules they've got to go through to execute it. I hope he does. I hope he's got a plan, and I hope this thing moves forward. But to me, it smells a lot like George Kokinis. Although the head coach isn't going to have control of the 53-man roster like Mangini was. So what do you got? What do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting because people are looking at Sashi Brown and they're trying to figure out, well, what is this non-football guy going to do with the 53-man roster? And I can't tell you that it's going to work, but I think I understand what they're trying to do. They're looking at a guy who's got expertise in terms of cap, contract, somebody who can kind of bridge the gap between the analytics side and the football people, the scouts and people like that, and the coaching staff. And it seems like they're setting up for more like the San Francisco model, where they had Parag Marath and Trent Baalke and Jim Harbaugh before their entire defense retired. But it seems to me that they're going for that really strong head coaching candidate who wants to have a lot of control over personnel and scouting and choosing his players.
Can I say one thing about
Sure, go
this guy, Sashi Brown? He came from Jacksonville. How many games did they win? How many games have they won over the past however many years?
But his job wasn't about winning and losing there. It was about being their general counsel. I mean, he needed to be a lawyer.
All I know is this.
And this is what he was here, a lawyer.
Okay.
If anything, they went and they hired somebody who's like
up and coming teams in NFL right now.
Hang on, Craig, go ahead.
After
Sorry.
getting their head smacked last night the way they did,
Yeah.
sure they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anything, this is kind of like another Joe Banner, hopefully without the scowl and the anger. I mean, this is a non-football guy, a contract guy who's going to be kind of in charge of the direction of the roster, and it's man, it is Joe Banner-esque in a lot of ways. But you hope without the inability to attract candidates, which was Joe Banner's major downfall.
I just think that they could have put Sashi in this position. I don't know that they had to say he was in charge of the 53-man roster last night. I think they could have come to that determination. This is why I really hope Jimmy had a plan, and this plan is going to be executed because you closed down a lot of walls by the way you set the situation up last night. You closed down any general manager that would ever want to come to Cleveland because they want to be in control of the 53, and you also kind of closed down the gap between having a general manager that's going to come in and hire his own head coach. I mean, they closed a lot of walls by the way they presented this last night. Now, if he has a plan, knows who his coach is going to be, knows who his general manager is going to be, that's fine, but I would hope we'd find that out sooner rather than later. If it's later, we're looking at, and Kenny will probably join in on this too, we're looking at the same problems we had last time. You're going to be on your 5th or 6th or 7th choice.
It's 4 or 5 organizations that lose their coaches or have lost their coaches, including ours. I think New York is going to lose their coach. He's going to resign or step down or whatever.
Tom Coughlin.
But you got coaches that are out there and say, well, I'm going to go to this defense or I'm going to go to this offense where I got talent here. I got an Odell Beckham and I got a Jason Pierre-Paul or whatever. And I know what I can do with these guys if the owner and the GM are working, we all working together, and not having somebody say, oh, well, this guy's going to run our 53-man roster. You're going to answer to him. You got to answer to this guy. Somebody's got to answer to the head coach. It's too many ins and outs. Mm-hmm. You know, just make it straightforward.
And there's one missing name.
Go ahead.
Alex Shiner. Where's Alex Shiner's name? What's he going to do? I mean, this elevation of Sashi Brown feels like an Alex Shiner move. It feels like somebody who's part of Alex Shiner's, his style, his format, getting elevated to the other side of the wall. But his name was not mentioned in terms of the coaching hire. It was not named at all yesterday, and that was a surprise to me.
I think that it's clearly it was done on purpose. And as you said, Craig, he was a part of the last two searches, so he's not in this one. But if you look at
They want to have someone to blame if everything goes wrong.
Well, look,
that's the way it looks to
again.
me.
Like I said before, Sashi and Alec have a history, and it goes back to right out of college where they were at the same law firm. And I don't know that a lot of people are talking about that.
Law.
Well, that's what they are. They're both lawyers,
right,
and so. But Alec, to me, is being rewarded and also being clarified. So his job is clearly the business side of this thing, and Sashi's going to lean on the football side. The business football side of it, where Alec is in charge of marketing and trying to make sure all those ticket revenue things are going out there and sponsorships and corporate partnerships and all those things. Look, the guy has increased the value of the franchise, whether it was Joe or just little things along the way. The value of the franchise is $500 million more than when Jimmy Haslam bought it. What? That's why Alex Shiner is still here. That's why Alec, I think, is still a part of this organization.
And that's great, but at the same time, like, he's trying to run it like it's Pilot. This is not Pilot. It's the Cleveland Browns.
It's fine. You're the third person that said it to me that this is very business.
It's not Pilot. It's the Cleveland Browns. It's a football organization rich in tradition, and you got to have somebody that's saying, well, we want to come here and we want to coach these guys because we can find some guys in the draft, but we can also bring in some veterans that want to play here and they love to play for this city. It's so many kids from Cleveland, the inner city of Cleveland, that would love to play for the Browns, and they won't bring none of them back. Like, they had a chance.
I have one counterpoint to that.
Okay.
And Pierre, the only reason that I would say maybe slow down a little bit is let's see. I mean, they've put their cards on the table, and they're whether they can win the hand or not is anybody's guess. It all comes down to this coach that they can attract. If they can attract this top-line superstar coach that's going to enable them to bring in those kinds of players and those kinds of people and make those kinds of moves happen, then they will have won. But we're right to be skeptical that this setup is going to allow them to get that kind of coach.
3 letters, W.
You think, Craig? I mean, go back and look at what Haslam's done with the Browns as well as Pilot Flying J. Since he's been here, he's been an unmitigated disaster with both of his businesses.
Ooh. Although financially, the Browns they're a disaster when it comes to wins and losses, but for the bottom
that's all
line,
that matters to the fans, right? It shouldn't that be the most important thing? You talk about how much you care about the fans and that. Does he really care about the fans, or is he just happy that his franchise has increased in value?
Bands and make her dance. That's the phrase now.
No, I agree with Kenny, but it comes down to this coach. If they hire the right coach.
WHO.
All right, Craig, I just want to get your take on this before we let you go. Johnny Manziel, are you done with Johnny after the last 24 hours?
Let me see him in the streets.
It doesn't matter. It matters whether the new coach is done with him or not. I think I am. I think the Browns are. I can't imagine any coach coming in here going, yeah, I'm going to bet even 1 year of my career on this guy.
Well, even if they wanted to bring in a guy who would be like a guru to him, I put it this way: the whole deal yesterday, to me, and this picture on top of everything else, is a big middle finger to the franchise. He doesn't want to be here. He does not want to be here. This is just what he has proven time and time again. I can understand frustration or this or that. This kid is not serious about football, and I'm just kind of blown away by the last 24 hours, especially after I thought maybe he had figured it out with football. But, I mean, that was a gigantic middle finger to all of your teammates in the organization yesterday.
He should have been on the sideline.
And then I also wonder if this whole concussion protocol thing, if it wasn't just a play. And if that's the case, the Browns are going to be in trouble for that. You can't just play concussion, can you?
That's what Peter King said. Peter King said he wasn't even so sure that the concussion protocol was legit.
I don't think he had a concussion at all. That's
And when we heard he got the concussion symptoms, he came in on Wednesday is when those concussion symptoms popped up. So if he didn't have a concussion, probably going to Vegas, like you said, Andy, was his middle finger to the organization.
Yeah, because, I mean, if it was concussion, Vegas is the last place you want to be on earth.
It's past the organization. What about your teammates, them guys that were rooting for you week in and week out? That's disrespectful to them. If I'm Dante Ward, I'm whooping your ass. I'm sorry. That's just me. Like,
if he did not have a concussion, what's the story, though?
He saw.
Oh, what's the story? Go back to the Christmas video. Right? Go back.
Then why even play him after that? Or maybe he was forced to play him with Haslam and Ray Farmer letting him to play. That's why I said it's Cleveland chaos. That's what this is. It's Cleveland chaos. OIC only in Cleveland. You have this many ridiculous things happen.
And I'm at the point now with Johnny that I wanted to see what I don't just get him out of here. Get him out of here now. And if he's successful somewhere else, I'll have no regrets. It didn't work here. End of story. No regrets.
You seen Brian Hoyer and Brandon Wheaton tweet.
Craig, what do you have going on waiting for next year?
Smiling.
Oh, we've got all the same stuff that you'll have going on all day long. It must feel like you've been in sports talk radio for a decade by this point. I know it's been, 4 years, 3 years?
Yeah, for me, and Kenny, you got to feel like you're the grandfather at this point.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, I've been through this many. I was just looking this up. How about these names? The general managers, right? Here we go. You start off with Dwight Clark. That was, horrific under Carmen policy. Then Butch Davis, let's give him a little bit of credit, okay, because he's the only coach to take them to the playoffs, and he was the coach and the GM. Then it was Phil Savage, who I think is probably the best of the bunch so far, followed by George Kokinis. We know how that ended. Tom Heckert, he had issues away from the field like Johnny Manziel. Mike Lombardi officially for a year, and Ray Farmer for 2 years. Those are the guys that have been evaluating talent for the Browns since they've come back in 1999, and that's why they've made the playoffs just one time.
All right, thanks. Craig, we'll make sure we read you. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for a fun season.
It's been fun. It's been fun. Jackie Fernandez is standing by with her expert opinion. Jackie, what do you got for us?
I wanted to say good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning. It was nice being on Good Morning Cleveland with you this morning.
Andy, you did a great job.
Thanks.
You were on for so long. Yes, it was good to be have you with all the ladies.
How do you feel about this Browns? Let's face it, if you're going to wake up, that's the good place to wake up to. Listen, tell me your thoughts on the Browns right now.
Okay, honestly, when we were talking
about... lie to us. Okay, go ahead.
I really hope that they get that new coach that you said had ties to Denver. Yes, and Peyton Manning, even though he's really old.
Define really old. Kenny, close your ears on this. You don't want to hear this. Define really old.
Like around your age?
Adam Gase.
I'm just kidding.
What did you say? Oh, my age. That's really old. Thank you.
No, but that would be so great if he came.
If you can get Peyton Manning here.
How old is Adam Gase? He can't be older than 36.
Yeah, no, I think you're right in the ballpark. He's right there, is he?
He's one of the youngest coaches.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not talking him. I'm talking Peyton Manning.
Oh, you want Peyton Manning?
Yeah, but Peyton Manning's going to tell him what to do. He's the head coach.
You think so?
I know so.
Well, then the question is,
do you did out in Denver?
But here's the thing: would you move him in? Would you be willing to move Peyton Manning after 1 year of playing quarterback into this general manager spot that doesn't have control over the 53-man roster?
Jason Kidd did it, and he's pretty successful right now.
Kenny, would you be willing to do that?
He knows football. He knows football.
Move Peyton Manning right in and give him the opportunity to make the football talent evaluations and that?
Yeah.
Could it be any worse than anything we've seen in the guys I just mentioned?
That's true.
Agree. Great point.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
That would be a good transition for him. It would seem natural, don't you think?
Well, he wants to play one more year, though.
So he gets that 1 year to
in
adjust.
Cleveland. That's the problem. I guarantee he doesn't want to be in Cleveland. I don't care.
I wouldn't want to be in Cleveland for 1 year either, unless there's like some magic money rainbow waiting for him on Jimmy Haslam on the other side.
Build
Yeah.
from the inside out. You got to protect Peyton if he wants to come and play, plain and simple.
That's what Sashi's doing. He's making sure all the money is there for Peyton Manning to come.
Okay, can we have a moment of truth on the show?
Come on.
All
Moment
this
of
show
truth.
is moments of truth.
True or false? Some of the people on the morning show wanted to see if Sashi was married or not. True or false?
True.
True.
We come into the show and we see, you need to know this name. Everyone starts Googling him and go, wow, this guy's really good looking. By the way, no men were on the show today except this guy. And so that's Eric over here.
What?
So
I was on the show
everyone,
this morning.
besides you too. Yeah, besides you. You weren't there
married, though.
before the show. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the planning stages.
Dang, it's like
So everyone's
all planning
noticing
stages. I gotcha.
he's very handsome. And then we Google, and he's married. So lucky lady over there.
All right, let me be honest. This is why it's Dogs on the Run. What looks sexier to you? Actually, Sashi Brown, or the fact that he went Harvard Law?
Ooh, that always makes him sexier, to be
Yeah, that's
honest with
what I
you. A smart man in general, especially Harvard. It's not easy to get in there unless your parents are rich.
All right.
Okay, I know you guys spoke about Manziel, but I really wanted to talk about Manziel because we
All
were
right.
getting into it on
Go
Good
ahead,
Morning
it's your
Cleveland.
show now. Knock it out of the park. What do you want to talk about?
Do you think he fabricated that photo on Instagram and geotagged
No, it's a real
Avon?
photo.
No, but tagged that he was in Avon, but not really.
Listen, you know where that guy was at? That's in Vegas.
He was in
on
Vegas.
the floor in Vegas, making sure the lights are not hitting everything. That's why it's in like black and white.
I was
Right.
told
That dude's in Vegas.
Planet Hollywood for dinner, and then over to MGM for
Wow.
fun.
To watch the fight of.
I don't know if you watched the fight or not.
Okay.
Stipe Miocic won his big fight, UFC. So I don't
Okay.
know. I was just told that was one of the reasons.
That's why it's in black and white.
That's right. Okay, last thing. So we have all met Browns players, and they really do support Manziel. So what do you
Browns
think this?
players have you met? I'm just
I don't
curious.
remember when we. I met.
Jackie, please don't believe all that crap.
I met
that all these
Badamose
players
and didn't
support
realize
Johnny
who he
Manziel.
was
It's BS.
until after the fact.
Hang on, Kenny, say that again.
Oh, what did
And
he
I
say?
agree with- Kenny,
Jackie,
you're
please don't
100%
believe all those comments from the players that they support Johnny Manziel. They got to say that crap during the season. Go ask them now. Don't put a microphone in front of their face. Don't put a TV camera in front of their face. Tell them it's off the record, and they'll tell you what they really think of Johnny Manziel.
He's right. You're right.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen now? I mean, he didn't even
He's
show up on
done.
Sunday.
I think he's well. Look, and this is one of the reasons I'm glad Sashi Brown is the vice president in charge
You're
of
not
the
the only
53-man
one.
roster. He's gonna. I hope he throws him out of here. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this game. It didn't work. We know that the guy that drafted him is now gone. There's no allegiance to him. There's no allegiance to any of the 4 picks that have been made. There's no allegiance to anybody on the field anymore because now you're taking all those guys unless Jimmy Haslam has a direct relationship with the players. There's no allegiance there anymore. So it doesn't matter. That those 4 picks from the last 2 years, they're somebody else's problem.
Okay, so you two, your guys' dream head coach and GM. Go, unless you already said it. And if you did, say it again.
For me, somebody with who's proven.
Okay.
And at this point, I don't know who they're going to get. The GM thing is ridiculous. It's not going to matter. GM doesn't matter.
The GM doesn't matter.
No, because
The GM doesn't matter because Sashi Brown has control of the 53-man roster. He matters as far as evaluating talent and saying, here's a guy that we need. But in essence, this guy is going to be a pawn to he's going to be a pawn to the head coach because the head coach is going to have
I
more
hope
power.
they clean house with all the scouts too, because our
Oh.
scouting sucks. Like, period. Sucks balls. Sucks.
All right.
Are you done?
I'm done now. Thank you for letting me be on your
and
show.
really, thank you for being a part of it.
Did you enjoy GMC? Will you come back
I did.
again?
Of course I'll come back to
There's a
GMC.
picture of
Picture of the day.
Brian Hoyer and Brandon Wheaton smiling. With
And
the
it
hats
says-
It's on Twitter. Oh, they're going to the playoffs.
The caption is Division Champs.
on. Division champs of the AFC South.
All right, guys.
Well,
Andy.
they won. All right, let's.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you. All right, we are backed up. Let's just do this. So when I get backed up, I think clean out the PSAC and find out what's going on with the PSAC. And we turn to Tubby Dog.
What's up, fellas?
What's up with you?
What's up, Tubby?
Oh, you know, just sitting here living a dream.
All right, how are you feeling?
Today I'm actually pretty good. It's not too bad for me today because I had a good day yesterday. I didn't watch any of the football game, and I was at a wrestling tournament with my boys, and we had a good time.
All right. Well, first of all, the game didn't matter. I don't think anyone knows the Browns played the Steelers yesterday. Did you realize that?
No, I just thought that the Steelers picked up and moved 200 miles north and just hung out for a while.
It's what it felt like being at the stadium.
I
yesterday.
owe push-ups, so I know that they played yesterday. I think I may convert.
To what?
I ain't saying it yet.
Don't say. Look, if you want to root for the teams you played for,
No.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I do that regardless.
I don't have
I like that. It says PSAC advocate. That's awesome. That's a good job out of you, referee.
Eric, nice job. All right,
Thank you.
Tubby, let's go through the major points here. Ready? Ray Farmer fired. Agree or disagree?
Yep. Good choice. See ya.
Mike Patton fired. Agree or disagree?
I kind of wanted to see what he could do with a different GM, but at this point, sure, why not? Just clean house, get rid of him too.
Johnny Manziel, has he played his last game as a Cleveland Brown?
I hope so. I'm just done. I'm sick of talking about the dude for underperforming and only having average numbers. I mean, he didn't do anything for me. He didn't do anything for the team. Like when he did get out on the field and he did well, it was just average. He never lived up to the hype. Not worth the headache.
Tubby, give me this season. Give me a recap of the season in only the way that Tubby can.
Let's see. Suck, fucking suck. Oh, wait, bright spot, fucking suck. Suck some more. Fuck me, we're starting over again.
Is there a guy you want? And what do you think of the way that they're going to set up the new structure for the Browns?
I think the way they're setting up the structure is absolutely stupid. You're having a GM in name only. The guy's actually just head scout. That's all he's doing. He's like, here's my report, head coach. Here's my report, Sashi. And pick the guys. I mean, it's fucking stupid. It makes no goddamn sense. I mean, never, ever have I ever heard of an employee being able to pick his fucking boss. I mean, it's the stupidest thing ever. The guy has no balls at all.
He actually will not, again, according to what I was told, he will not be his boss. The GM will not be the head coach's boss.
Man, listen.
Well, then what's the point of having a fucking GM? Just name him head scout. I mean, there's no point. Like every structure I've ever seen, there's a hierarchy, and it's either the coach is GM, like it's a coach and GM, or there's a coach and then a GM and then football operations. It's a chain of command, and there's no actual chain. It's like a roundabout circle jerk, and everybody's sucking each other off. It's fucking stupid.
We're in a no-win situation with all of this round.
All right, how could they have won then? Give me a way that they win.
You get a GM, you
Right.
get a head coach.
Right?
If Sasha wants to be part of helping with the 50-man roster, you make Sasha a coach. Like Nick Caserio up in New England.
Right.
He came in and he coached and he learned how to go through the process, but now he's like the GM.
Right.
So if you want to do that, then that's what you do.
But let's be honest, Bill's the GM there.
Bill helps, yeah, he is the GM.
All right, thank you. That's enough.
Can we please,
but he made
can we
great
please, for the love of Christ, put a moratorium on the phrase rebuild? Because it insinuates that at some point in time the Browns have fucking built something. And they haven't. The only thing they've done is built sandcastles close enough to the break that every so often high tide comes in and washes all the bullshit away, and we start building it the fuck again. It's stupid. Hi, Browns, how about you fucking build something first, then you can rebuild.
Got a lot of effort.
All right, Tubby. Thank you. We appreciate your time. Continued success. And give us a little update on your radio show as well.
Let's see. We're probably going to be starting here within the next 2 weeks when we go back to school. We come back off a break. We'll have a rundown of men's and women's basketball. Our wrestling team is doing fairly well, our Division I wrestling team. So we'll be breaking down all of that action. And for me personally, hopefully, I know I didn't get a chance to come in and do an in-studio appearance. Hopefully, if we do a Dawgs on the Run draft show, we can kind of set something up, and maybe I'll actually put on a suit and tie and join you guys and drop the fucking F-bombs.
All right, sweet. Tubby Dog, thank you very much, and have a great new year.
Peace out. Take care of your PSAC.
All right, thank you. PSAC advocate. Again, talking about the conference that he covers. Where'd you go to school again?
The PSAC.
No, PSAC is the conference.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, thank you. All right. Kenny, don't fall asleep on me. I know you're still sitting there. Hang on, let's take a phone call. Howie Smith. Hey, Howie.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I feel bad for you. You're right there in the bowels of Steeler territory. But I'll tell you what, being at the game yesterday, it was like being at a Heights Tiger game. It was all black and gold at First Energy Stadium.
Yeah, our bar was filled with Steeler fans. We have our own room, so we just had to listen to all the cheering and screaming and bullshit, and the Jets shit in the bed. So,
did they walk
nice
back
thing
in
is
your
we
room
have a
and talk
back
any
door
smack,
to the
or
room,
no?
so we can get the fuck out without walking through all of them.
Did they come back there and talk any smack or no?
No. They pretty much they were out there. Well, like Tubby said, having a big communal circle jerk. They were happy.
I will say this, for a guy that's been to a ton of Browns-Steelers games, yesterday seemed to be the least amount of fights that I've ever seen at a Browns-Steelers game.
Oh, yeah, it'd have been a lot of fights. I definitely would have been out there fighting. I mean...
Are you talking about on the field, or are you talking about... I'm talking about in the stands.
No, I'm talking about on the field.
I only saw a couple... Did they show it on TV, the two guys that threw after the long pass, two idiots threw a couple beer bottles out on the field? Did you see that?
No.
They didn't show it?
No, they
Good, I'm
didn't
glad they didn't show it yesterday.
Yeah, but those bottles don't pack much of a wallop anyways.
Well, that wasn't
no
water.
Big deal.
Water weighs less than beer.
Does it really? You've done a scientific, study on that?
I just made that up. I have no idea.
I think a beer bottle would have been the only way to stop Antonio Brown yesterday. I mean,
at least he didn't flip on us.
You know what? We couldn't even double coverage this man.
I know. How sad was that, Pierre? The one touchdown pass, he was double covered and he still beat him.
That's because, you know what? I seen some of the Browns players, and one in particular, number 33, drinking beer. And, I know he's after getting a whooped against Seattle, but you drinking beer, that's going to slow you down.
You mean just during the season at one point, or you're just saying it?
If you win, it's something different. We ain't won nothing. I ain't drinking a dang thing. I'm trying to win. I don't want to drink. What I want to do is eat.
Do you think this new GM might give you a shot to go out there, try out?
Hey, you listen, these guys ain't going to give me
Why don't you call Sashi? Why don't you quit ripping Sashi and say, how about a tryout?
I don't know the guy. I'm not ripping
This
him.
is
I'm
a
just saying
train wreck.
he does
This
not
is a
know
fucking train wreck.
football. Like, he's been around football, but you talking about a guy who's a law guy. He's a law guy.
Well, he's still in charge of the 53. You could be one of the 53. Man. Howie, let me take you through the gauntlet of questions this morning.
How about that?
You ready for the
Okay, go
gauntlet,
ahead.
Howie? Here we go. Ready. Ray Farmer, should he have been fired, yes or no?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Mike Patton, hang on a second. I got to
hit a buzzer.
I don't even have a laugh on here anymore. Do we have a laugh?
I got the laugh.
Go, hang on, we can do this.
What the what?
I got this. Do you agree with that? Next
Okay.
one, Mike Patton. Should he have been fired?
Mike
yes or no?
Patton, yeah. He doesn't have any fire in his ass. I mean, in his post-game press conference, he complimented his staff for showing the fuck up for work. What the hell? That's their job.
Well,
Johnny Manziel, do you ever want to see him again as a Browns quarterback?
I really don't. I mean, he might have it, but he doesn't get it. He wants to go to Dallas.
Have
Send
what?
him to Dallas.
What do you got? What do you got besides running?
He's got a little electricity. Let me give you one more. I'm going to throw a wild card at you. Ready, Howie?
Go ahead. Yep.
Joe Thomas, has he played his last game as a Cleveland Brown?
I'm afraid so. I think they need to. He's living off his name. He's getting beat. Mac is the same way. Mac doesn't want to be here. And what the hell is this where the Haslam's wife is going to help in the coaching?
She's been a co-owner the entire
hiring?
time. She's been in this spot the whole time. She has more power than you think.
Well, I guess all women do.
That's true. Good point. Happy wife, happy life.
They got the key to the candy store.
Speaking of happy New Year to you. We appreciate all your help throughout the year on Dawgs On The Run.
Hey, no problem. I'll talk to you maybe the night of the draft from our bar.
Okay, Howie, or after they hire a head coach, I think we might be doing another show. We'll give you a heads up.
Oh, cool. I'll keep paying attention here.
All right, thank you, Howie. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
All right, bye. Matt Lody's standing by. I want to talk to Matt. Matt, how are you? SteelersGab.com. Hi, Matt.
He about to really get.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Is this the Howard Stern show? I mean, my gosh, that language. My little ears are burning this morning.
What, you just realized that you can swear on this show?
I mean, I guess I did, but Howie, Howie's a pretty intense guy. He kisses his mom with that mouth. Jeez.
Well, he is a Browns fan in the middle of Steelers territory.
Yeah,
I guess apparently the Browns and Steelers played yesterday. Did you know that?
Yeah, that was it was so anticlimactic because all the Steelers were worried about was what was going on in Buffalo. And even upstairs in the press box, Burt Lawton, the Steelers PR director, had to keep switching back and forth between the game that was on in front of us and the Buffalo Jets game, which, again, held just as much importance to the Steelers. And, you know, the Steelers themselves lackadaisically just kind of went through at least the first three quarters and then finally were able to put this thing away yesterday. And then, of course, after the game, it was all about how did Buffalo win, what happened, and then, of course, will Pittsburgh play on Sunday or Saturday? So there was a lot of drama outside that game yesterday, but I think everybody kind of knew that as long as Pittsburgh did what they should have been able to win that game, and they eventually finally did.
Hey, I'm just curious, your thoughts on if Pittsburgh can do any damage in the playoffs?
You know, I don't know. Their first round matchup, I do like if you're a Steelers fan. I think Cincinnati is right for the pickings. They lost to Denver to go in a game they should have won. I don't know how much faith I have in A.J. McCarron. But with that being said, if the Steelers think they can just show up and go through a first half like yesterday, a first half like Baltimore, they're going to get beat. This isn't the same Bengals team they played a couple weeks ago because the Bengals are going to be ready this time around, and the Steelers are going to be a little bit banged up. You don't know what's going to be with D'Angelo Williams and that ankle sprain, if he's going to be able to go. And the comedy stylings of Toussaint and Todman at the running back spot, I don't know if I trust that. So, and Ben Roethlisberger just has not looked very good the last couple of weeks. He looked great in the second half against Denver, but really has not looked all that good, especially last week against Baltimore. And I didn't think he looked that good yesterday. I know he threw for a lot of yards and threw for a bunch of touchdowns, but, made some bad mistakes, threw some bad interceptions. If they go to Cincinnati and get into a fight and make it about what goes on off the field, what goes on Twitter this week, they're gonna lose that game. I just think Cincinnati is due for a playoff win. On the other hand, if they can focus in and go down and play a much better offensive game and find a way defensively to tackle better, I think they have a pretty good shot. Now, after that, Denver and New England stands in their way. I think both those teams with their passing games is going to be awfully, awfully tough to beat as far as from the Steelers' point of view.
All right, Matt, let me put you through the Browns gauntlet here real quick. Just your thoughts. Ray Farmer, fired, right call or wrong call?
No, I mean, I think all of them had to go. I think Ray, the suspension put a dark cloud over the entire season. I don't think personnel-wise Mike Pettin was given a lot of options. I know a lot of people are talking about why didn't Mike play Dwayne Bowe? Why didn't Justin Gilbert get more playing time? How about that these guys just aren't that good? I mean, has anybody ever thought about that? Maybe these guys just aren't that good. So, yeah, I think Ray absolutely had to go.
Justin Gilbert, I think there were way more issues than we ever will.
Absolutely.
Just all kinds of stuff. Last thing, and I think it's interesting because I kept looking at it from a Steelers perspective. Would the Steelers ever put up with what Johnny Manziel has dished out?
No.
And the answer to me was no.
Andy, they dumped a third-round draft choice in Dree Archer for off-the-field issues. Chris Rainey got dropped for off-the-field issues. I mean, every NFL team has to put up with some modicum of off-the-field problems. It's just the state of the NFL. But the amount of things that this guy has put the Browns through in the last just month has just been incredible to the point where there's no way, nobody is more important than the team. I don't care on any NFL franchise. And why the Browns have continued to give this guy a free pass. And now the report that I not heard even 20 minutes ago that this guy showed up for practice intoxicated one day. I mean, it is enough is enough. This guy has no respect for the organization, no respect for the team, no respect for his teammates. He's a spoiled brat. That's all I can say about him. If I was a team owner, if I was a coach, I wouldn't want anything to do with this kid.
Gotcha. Matt Lodi, thank you very much. Steelers Gab, we always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Have a great day, guys. Take care.
All right.
Hey, Andy, let me interject something about the Steelers organization.
Sure,
Ben Roethlisberger had some off-the-field issues on two separate occasions and also was in a motorcycle accident, and they kept him around. So they did, go the extra mile or two with Ben Roethlisberger, gave him a couple of chances. But all the other guys, Plaxico Burress too, they dumped those guys rather quickly.
Let's talk about that for a second. How close was Ben Roethlisberger to being said goodbye? Lodi, I know you're still there. Hang on if you can hear me.
Yeah, I know that the rumor evidently back then, Andy, was that they were talking to St. Louis about trade options for that first pick. That was the Sam Bradford year. I remember that, and I'm sure you do, Kenny, as well. I don't necessarily think it got to a point of, on the cusp, I think there were some discussions, and Ben Roethlisberger to this day, I think probably regrets all of the things that took place. Obviously, I mean, I think now he's stayed out of trouble. He's a team leader. He's turned it around. But, the thing about Ben Roethlisberger, obviously very different than Johnny Manziel, is Ben Roethlisberger already had one Super Bowl ring when all these allegations went down, and I think was on the verge of a second. So he was an established quarterback. And I don't think the Steelers were that close to getting rid of him. Kenny, I mean, I know you could jump on this and kind of agree with, you were right there, you saw
What
this.
I was told was he had 2 strikes against him, and one more
Right.
they would have considered getting rid of him, and that's when he turned his life around. He ended up getting married. He was never convicted of the allegations that were against him. So you remember the movie Stripes, where they go in to sign up for the Army, and the recruiter says, "Have you ever been convicted of a crime?" And they're convicted. No, never convicted. So, and so he was close, and he turned it around, and he's been, their quarterback since, and he's beaten the Browns, 21 times now, or whatever it is in his career.
All right, Matt, thank you. We'll talk to Matt later. Kenny, let's just go through final thoughts here, plugs. Unless you want to hop in.
Real quick, I want
comes another
to.
real
Pierre
thing.
brought up this picture a little earlier.
Okay.
It's a picture of Brian Hoyer and Brandon Whedon.
I'm
What are your
happy for
thoughts on
Brian.
that?
I don't know if you go back and look. 92.3 The Fan, they asked me what teams were going to make the playoffs, and I said, yeah, I mean, look, I know they're not in a strong conference, and I know Indianapolis had a bad year. I said the Texans would make the playoffs with Brian Hoyer, and, I know he didn't play the last couple of weeks, but
Is that Ray Farmer's biggest mistake, not bringing him back, or do you think it would have not?
No, it didn't matter because Brian was battling Johnny Manziel, and what was Johnny Manziel? And it's an undrafted quarterback against a guy you picked in the first round. Some of the things just didn't matter because we were so clouded in the way we were looking at everything, and it split Browns fans in half. I hate that. I mean, it drives me nuts. I'm happy for Brian. He went to go play, and I said it 100 times on this show alone. He was going to play for Bill O'Brien. When it became evident that it wasn't working, I said it time and time again. And now he and Bill, and he had to fight his way to keep this job. Ryan Mallett had him on the edge of saying, "You're done. We're going to go with Mallett." So I give Brian a lot of credit, and I mean, as a Clevelander, I'm proud of him. Do I wish the Browns were there more than the Texans? Yeah, I do. But I'm happy for him.
Our division, week in and week out, is one of the toughest divisions, and it's going to be hard when you get a quarterback like a Johnny Manziel who doesn't want to really buy into the Browns way, the tradition that we have here. And when you got a guy like Brian Hoyer who knows about Cleveland and things like that, Johnny want to be in Dallas. Send his ass to Dallas. Bye. See?
What are you going to get for him, though, now? That's the problem.
You're not going to get nothing. Just
he
cut
crushed
him.
you even on more trade value problems.
Just cut him. You're not going to get anything. And hopefully Jerry Jones will be smart enough not to pick him up. And nobody's, my personal opinion, you know what I'm saying, you want to be
out of the league 2 years? Is that what you thought? If he continues at this rate, out of the league in 2 years.
You know what? Nobody want to get Tim Tebow a chance.
No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? But you get this kid a chance and he keeps shitting on you like this, man, get rid of him. Bye.
Kenny.
As far as Hoyer, congratulations to Brian. Good for him, but I look at him more as a career backup. He's in a good situation with the guy that he had in New England.
Right.
And in this division, a lot different than the division that they played in. I don't think Brian Hoyer would have made much of a difference with this team this year, but kudos to him. Brandon Whedon, come on, we all wanted him out of town as well. It's just ironic that they're both on the same team, and their team won a division with, a 500 record? So that they'll be one and done, in my opinion. I think they'll lose to Kansas City.
And those guys want to play for Houston, though. I know that. I mean,
Yeah, they do. Wouldn't you want to play anywhere but Cleveland?
I'd want to play on a team with J.J. Watt in
True.
a minute.
Big
Talent helps too, right?
Yes. They didn't make look, I mean, Bill O'Brien, they were talking about he was fired 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Everybody said he was out. So, why don't you give me a couple plugs here? Go ahead.
Well, as you can imagine, we're going to be talking about this today on the Kenny Rota Show, News Talk 1480 WHBC, 3 to 6 or 7 today, and throughout the entire week, throughout this search process for hopefully a coach who has won a Super Bowl already, or at least taken a team to the Super Bowl. If this plan that Jimmy Haslam has put in place is going to work, they need a coach who's done that, who's at least taken a team to the Super Bowl, knows what it takes to get a team there, preferably a coach that's won a Super Bowl, but in order for that to happen, you're going to have to overpay this guy and give him a lot of power, even though he may not have the title. So this is going to be very interesting. And this is what, the third head coach for Jimmy Haslam now, and third general manager, or whoever that is going to be, whatever his title really is. Jimmy Haslam, to me, is the biggest problem with the Cleveland Browns. He said yesterday he takes most of the blame for this, and he should. He's been a horrific owner to this point.
All right, Kenny, thank you. We'll listen for you, and I'm sure we're going to have a couple shows up here. They're not scheduled right now, but I will talk to you soon.
Kenny,
all right, sounds good. Hey, Pierre, congrats on Michigan representing the Big Ten.
Well, by the way, I want to thank you, and I said this on the air the other night. If it wasn't for the Big 2, Little 12, I would have been so embarrassed by the Big 10 again. I mean, you talk about Northwestern, embarrassing. Iowa. Embarrassing. Michigan State,
man,
embarrassing.
That was horrific.
So thank you. I thank you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I thank Ohio State, Michigan, the only two that won. So we know what's going to happen.
Kenny, we'll talk to you soon. Pierre, final thought.
Final thought, the Browns need to wake up, and hopefully we can get a Sean Payton, or we can bring in Brian Billick, somebody that has won Super Bowls like Kenny said.
Brian Billick's not coming here if he can't control the roster.
Well, that's something that they need to relinquish. They need to let that go and let this man control the roster. He's a coach. That's what he does.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, well, thank you. Eric, the referee, anything?
I just can't wait for the draft. We locked up the second pick overall. Can we actually do something with it?
We'll trade it.
Are we going to trade it? Are we actually going to take a quarterback second overall?
No.
There's going to be a lot of discussion.
You know who I'll take second overall right now? Ezekiel Elliott. I'm serious.
Nothing wrong with Ezekiel Elliott. I don't see the Browns doing that though. They would.
He's not gonna have a choice.
Got a big choice.
What about?
Choice? I'm not coming.
He can pull that up. What was that? Who was
Eli
that?
Manning?
Manning, yeah.
How about Joey Bosa at number 2 overall? Would you be happy with that? Because that's right now who the scouts have us taking. In 6 mock drafts, 4 of them they had.
So who's going
Joey
number
Bosa.
1 overall?
Offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman from Ole Miss.
Well, then we need to get an offensive lineman too.
I want to get off the air. I'm tired of this. Paula, thank you. I didn't realize Paula's on it.
Lisa's
here now. Lisa, thank you for filling in here at the end. Tell Paula we said thank you too. We appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Stop the violence in Cleveland.
I just want to thank everybody for joining us again on another great year, I think, of Dogs on the Run. And more than that, now that we've got the podcast available that you can watch us at any point. So thank you to everybody that's been a part of the show this year, and looking forward to maybe doing a couple special shows coming up here down the road. So thank you. That's Dogs on the Run. We'll see you later.
God bless.